Declan Rice for a nice price? Talk to me.
The news doth move fasteth. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, the news moves quickly, sharpish, some might say, and that is obviously involving Declan Rice. So, it appears that he only wants to go to Arsenal now. Now, this is sort of old news, but it's also new news because we thought that Man City were coming in and Man City were going to make a bigger bid than Arsenal. But I was wondering, where is this Man City bid? And I think this might go to explain why the Man City bid hasn't come in. Because I do now think that Man City have almost tried to do things properly. That's my reading of the situation from outside. Arsenal have been bidding a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit more. They've been giving it the full eBay. Speaking to the player before, weren't they? They knew 6 months ago. We've already heard that Arteta has given Declan Rice assurances as to where he will feature in the team and all this other stuff, right? It's all been arranged. So, look, I'm not suggesting that they tapped him up. Everybody knew Declan Rice was leaving. But there's certainly been some meetings. You're not really allowed to do it. It's a bit naughty, right? But my point is, Arsenal have gone about it one way by speaking to the player before they'd signed him or before they had permission to do so. They've then given small bids, bid small amounts, or certainly a lot less than they knew we'd accept. Whereas Man City, I guess, have just tried to do it the normal way, which is not necessarily speak to the player yet. Spoke to West Ham and said, look, can you notify us of any potential transfer for Declan, because once we know how the land lies, we're going to make a bid. So it appears, I don't have any inside information, it appears like they've done it the right way. I do wonder now why this bid hasn't come in, if maybe West Ham have said, okay, yeah, no problem, we'll keep you in the loop, this is how much we want. Whilst they're preparing a bid, maybe then they spoke to the player's representatives, and then they said, no, he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to come and live up north, basically. Now, because that's what we're hearing. Those are the stories now, which pretty much makes it Arsenal or bust. And the reason it makes it Arsenal or bust is because Chelsea are not in the Champions League, and he wants Champions League football. Now, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because, and I can't say I blame him. As I've mentioned many times, I don't how much you'd want to uproot your whole family. I don't know. He's got a young daughter. I totally get it. I understand that. So I think Declan's trying to strike a balance, which is it all just about winning trophies? No, we know that. Is it all just about money? No, we know it's not all about money, because he's turned down money for a long time at West Ham. But is it all about winning trophies? No, clearly not. Because there's only one club where you're guaranteed trophies, and that is, well, with the treble winners. Really, that it's as simple as that. I mean, to be fair, Arsenal just signing Guy Havertz, so not Guy Havertz, Kai Havertz, isn't it? So they're probably going to be worse next season, right? Man City, and I think if you really wanted to be guaranteed trophies, you'd go up to play for Man City. So clearly, he's looking for a balance between Champions League football and staying in his location, and I think that's pretty much undermined West Ham. It's certainly, I would imagine, put Man City off the scent. It's probably going to deter Manchester United from bidding. And this is where West Ham got to be really strong on this one as well, because it's a case of almost saying to Arsenal, well, you're going to have to match Man City's bid, because West Ham still do have a little bit of power here. Well, we have quite a bit of power. We have a 2-year option that we can exercise. And I don't want to claim credit for saying it. I know I've been saying something similar for a long, long time. But in terms of acting now, as I've always said about messaging, at some point this week, and I pinned the message to the top of one of the videos, and so apologies if I can't remember who. Well, I can't remember who posted it, but I did post a message to the top, and he said the thing is to send a message out now by saying it's £120 million, oh, by the way, and just publicly state we have exercised our 2-year option on Declan Rice. Make it obvious. Now, make it public. Just put it out there. There's the option. Declan Rice is staying with us if we don't get our 120 million or whatever it is. Obviously, in the hope we're getting 100 million, right? But you put it out there and say if he's not going to do it, then he'll stay with us for another year and we'll look to offload him next season. I'd come out. This is where West Ham have got to be strong. I want Declan to get his move, and I want him to go where he wants to go. I'd rather he didn't go to Arsenal. but I don't particularly like the way they've done their business. But West Ham do actually have to look after themselves in this one. And if there's a sort of, a bit of a tag team thing going on here to drive the price down or keep the price low, then West Ham have got to combat that. It's been like a boxing match, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You felt like, there was a punch in our favour with Man City saying they were going to come in. And now, Arsenal have almost struck another blow by Rice sort of leaking that he wanted to stay, or Team Rice leaking that he wanted to stay only in London. I've heard some people talk about the travel. Look, I don't know this. If Declan Rice is living in Cobham, he's travelling anyway. He's travelling to West Ham. He really is. Believe you me, it's only about 10 miles away from. I don't live near posh, by the way. But it's only about 10 miles away from here, and on the M25, to get to Stratford, it ain't easy, I've got to say. That being said, if you think it's going to be easy going to North London, I'll tell you now. Actually, if he's getting on at Junction 9, M25 or something like that, he's going to go past Heathrow on the M25. That's even worse than the Dartford crossing, I can tell you that now. So, Man City offered him a helicopter, didn't they? Did you hear that? Man City said that what they would do is they would offer to house all his family. Nothing new there. Clubs have been doing it for years and years and years. All clubs own a few properties that they put players into. Try and keep his family settled, and they would arrange helicopter rides. I tell you now, he would need a helicopter ride to get from Cobham. Where's the Arsenal train? Barnet, I think. But believe you me, that ain't going to be any quick journey for him. I can tell you that now. Mind you, it's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Helicopters. I don't want to get in a helicopter either. Anyway, doesn't matter. Not my problem. I just wonder what the next move is for the club. It is a shame about Chelsea, because I think we're now going to see the bidding war come to an end, and I do think we're going to have to either accept a price for Arsenal, and I do think there's going to be some form of compromise. But this is where I think Arsenal don't do themselves any favours at all. So, they've bought Havertz. Apparently they want to buy Lavia as well. They want to buy Declan Rice. There's no concession from them. We've already said to them, look, we can do a deal if it involves Emile Smith-Rowe. But they don't want to do anything with him. They want to demand everything but give very little. And, that's not going to play out particularly well in terms of any negotiation. It's certainly not going to make the negotiation go quickly. Arsenal fans are quite frustrated with the way their owners are dealing with it. And I understand it. I was listening to the radio earlier on, and one of the Arsenal fans was saying on the radio that Kroenke, who owns Arsenal, we've got some teams in the States. I don't know whether it's baseball or basketball, NFL. I don't know. I don't know what teams he has, but apparently he's invested quite heavily in them, and they think his focus is all over there. But he's sort of scrimping on, 5-10 million here or there, on Declan Rice, an extra 5 or 10 million, but he's splashing the cash over in the States. I don't know how much of that is true. I think my point is that the Arsenal fans are frustrated with the way Arsenal are doing business, but I think everyone's going to be frustrated with the way Arsenal are doing business. West Ham, David Sullivan will be frustrated with Arsenal's way of doing things, and I'm pretty sure Declan Rice will be frustrated as well that they haven't got it over the line. But I do think we're now seeing the Rice team sort of ramping up a bit of pressure. What Declan doesn't want to do, Declan doesn't want to completely sour his relationship with West Ham fans. You can understand that. So he's not going to go on strike. He's not going to say anything. He's not going to say, I'm not turning up for training. He's not going to do any of that stuff, because he doesn't want to sour his relationship with the West Ham fans. Because he's wise too. And this is why he's wise. He's a young man now, whatever, he's in his mid-20s, 24, something like that. When he's twice that age, right, and he's looking back on his career and he's going back and visiting his old clubs, it will be West Ham. That's where he'll be going. That's where he'll be welcomed into. That he'll be thought of as a West Ham legend. He's never going to. He's never going to be up there with big. I'm sorry to say, he's never going to be up there with Tony Adams, or Thierry Henry, or whatever the case may be. And as I've mentioned on numerous occasions, I'm not sure he's ever going to be up there with even someone like Saka. Saka's always going to be more favoured by the Arsenal fan base than Declan Rice. So he's right not to try and sour his relationship with West Ham. But I do wonder if there's a little gentle nudge, a little gentle trying to push this through. I think it's really interesting. I hope it gets resolved soon. I really do. because I think today, more than any day, it's left a little bit of a bitter taste in the mouth. And I want us to get on with signing some players ourselves as well. But when you look at Man United, we're trying to get a bit creative with their deal. And I can't remember which one it was, but it was Alanga and somebody else. It was either McTominay or Maguire, but it's Alanga and somebody else, the winger. And so let's say McTominay and some money. They're trying to be creative. They're trying to do something. It's a case of, no, I don't want to go up north at all. I want to stay here. I want to stay with my family. My family are all comfortable down. I totally get it. A decision for family reasons, I absolutely get. He has to look after himself and he has to look after his family, 100%. But West Ham have got to look after themselves, and that's 100% as well. And what we can't do is allow Arsenal to pay under our valuation just because there's this double-pronged attack of stories being leaked out. The Rice will only go to Arsenal, and Arsenal bidding low, and then basically it keeps West Ham, force them down. They're going to have to pay the money, quite frankly. If they want him, they pay the money. We have to stay strong, but don't let it drag. If it drags and it drags and it drags, we would just do that. Well, I think we do that thing anyway. Honestly, announce it tomorrow on the club website and everyone. Leak all the news. West Ham United have exercised the option to extend Declan Rice's contract for a further 2 years. That would have the ticker tape on Sky Sports News. The yellow banner would be going like that. Honestly. Oh, what's his name? Old Soppy Chops would be outside Rush Green. There'd be no one there. He'd still be outside Rush Green with his microphone and all the rest of it. It would be big news. And I just think it would send a shot across the bows. Because Arsenal will be saying, hold on, what are they doing? Maybe they will think, oh, it's more West Ham games. But you know what? There's one thing about playing games, there's another thing about seeing them through. And you've got to see them through to their conclusion. You've got to, you've got to walk the walk as well as talking the talk. So you've got to do it and then just steadfast and absolutely and force Arsenal to come back with it. And if they make another bid and it's not acceptable, do the same as well. Come back with a no. No explanation, no. I dare say after that first bid, the talking was done. I bet after that first bid, Sullivan turned around and said, no, we want this. Basically, we want either this money or we want old Smith Rowe and this. They know. My point is, after the first round of negotiations, they know what we want. Second negotiation came in. David Sullivan just apparently typed back, no, N-O, sent it back. Not even yours sincerely, Davy boy. Nothing, right? No flowery stuff. It just went back. Good. But if the next one comes in and it's still, all that other stuff, just all the stuff. It's 70 million paid over 5 years plus another 15 million on top and a tuppence and a curly whirly, and you only get 15 million if pigs start flying or whatever the case may be. Just don't even engage. It's just no, and then hopefully that starts to send a message. And then hopefully Declan Rice, rather than thinking I've got to put pressure on West Ham, maybe Declan Rice puts some pressure on Arsenal. Say, hold on a second, how much do you want me? You seem to be doing a lot of negotiating. I don't know if this is true or not. Casiado is rumoured to be close to signing for Chelsea. Maybe by the time I do this video, he will be. If that's the case, wasn't he on Arsenal's radar? I don't know. And then they're going to be looking at Lavia. I think if they really want Declan, and I think this is the thing, and I think Declan would probably need to understand it. If they really want him, then they've got to stop farting around with all this other stuff. All right, fine, they bid for Hazard, but go and get him. It's not like they can't get Declan Rice. Declan Rice is there. Declan Rice is like a car on a forecourt with a price in the windscreen. And if you really want that car, just go and buy the bloody car. Honestly, but they can't help themselves. They've gone all Terry Tibbs. Honestly, and they're all in there, and they're offering a bit. But actually, no, not because Terry Tibbs. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. We're Terry. Whatever. It doesn't matter, right? My point is, if they want him, he's available. They got to go and get him. This needs to be resolved really quickly.